This is Taylor Schaefer with Morgan James Publishing, and I have the pleasure of interviewing Glenn Vo about his new release, 2612 Cherryhill Lane. So it is such a pleasure to be on this interview with you, Glenn. Thank you so much for joining me for the living room edition of your book launch. And I do have a couple of questions for you, so I'd love to go ahead and dive right into those.
I am so excited to be here, Taylor, and fire away.
Wonderful. So my first question is, can you tell us a little bit more about the anti-texting and driving message within the book?
Yeah, so that is a very big part of the book, and I'm going to go back to a story. It comes from a personal story. About 11 years ago, my wife and I were at the movies. I can't even remember what movie it was, right? But we left the movies. We were driving home, and back then, whenever you got a text message, you actually had to push like the little mailbox button.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm kind of dating myself right now, but you have to push that button, and then you can see the text message. Well, I was fumbling around pushing the button, and we were driving home, and I veered into incoming traffic. Right, I veered into another lane. There was this 18-wheeler. It was just blasting its horn. My wife was like, "Watch out! Look!" I looked up. I got out of the way, split second out of the way, and we drove up to the stoplight, and I just stopped there. Like, we just stopped there. The light's still turning green. We were just sitting there. I was just in shock. My wife was crying. She was pregnant with our first daughter. And our daughter now is 10 years old, right? And so each time I look at my daughter, I think about what could have happened there, because it was it was a massive truck. And if we would have hit that truck, I probably wouldn't be here. My wife wouldn't be here. My daughter definitely wouldn't be here. And it wasn't until that happened that from that point on, I stopped texting and driving. So when someone sends me a message, I don't answer it until I get home, or I'll just pull into like a gas station, or I'll pull over to the side, then I'll do that. But I'm totally against that. And so I knew that that was something that I wanted to share with my audience. And as I was working with the book, I kind of basically changed the plot a little bit to incorporate that, because if I can get one person to stop texting and driving, I did my job.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a really important message, especially today's day and age. Like, people put their phones like right in front of them, and it's so easy to just want to grab the phone and text while
Yeah.
driving. But I love that you incorporated that message into your book. I think it's very important and very relatable to many, many readers.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that message, how important is it, right? Most of the time it's something, could it wait about 5 minutes? Could it wait about 10 minutes? Yes. But if you spend that second to respond, I mean, it could change your life drastically. And in the book, you can see what happens with the main character, right? Changed his life. And some people don't get second chances. I got a second chance. In some ways, Jonathan in the book got a second chance, but there's so many people out there that don't get second chances.
Right. And so that brings me to my second question. Now, I'm very excited about this question. So how does a dentist write a romance novel?
I know. I get that all the time. And, I always get my patients, some of the patients that know that I'm an avid writer, they got even more excited about the release of the book than I did. And so obviously they got their autographed copies. But, this book has actually been something that I've been working on for about 12 years. And the reason why it took so long is because, well, life happens, right? You go to school, you get married, you have kids, things happen, right? Life happens, and you just try to kind of fit everything in. And so for me, it was really important for me to finish this book because, number one, I'm all about just kind of leaving some kind of impact or legacy on people texting and driving. But also, if I can to write a book, right? If I can fit it into my schedule and my life, then you can too, right? If you have a story that is so important that needs to be heard, right? That needs to be said, then you can do it. And so for me, I've always been a writer. I wrote for my school newspaper. I wrote for my college newspaper. Stories. I'm always jotting stories. I'll watch movies with my sisters and my wife, and I'll think like, oh man, they could have done the editing a little bit different. I'll write something there. And so 2612 Cherryhill Lane has been just stories. It's just a story that I've been working on all this time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until about I would say about a year and a half ago, that I actually had the resources available. Resources being working with like legit professionals, like working with like a Morgan James, right? That I can actually get it done. And so for those who are out there who have this next great book in their head, just do it. Just start writing, just write here and there. And before you know it, one day you'll actually have something that you can submit to someone, and hire, invest in professionals, invest in people that can help you get your book off the ground and into reality.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Everybody has a story in them. So it's a matter
Yeah,
of just putting that on paper and finding the time to do so. And like you said, when you do have those resources available, just take off with it and,
yeah,
run with it.
absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome. So my next question is, what was it important for you to include a Christian theme?
Yeah. So what I kind of think about my own journey to becoming a Christian myself. Throughout my life, I always had like an opportunity. Let's say it's a classmate who wanted to invite me to vacation Bible school. Maybe it's at the grocery store, I run into someone who gives me a pamphlet, right, of the Book of John or something. Right. There was always a sign. Even when I was in college, I remember the Christians on campus, they would do this pancake breakfast every Saturday. And I remember as a college student, my buddies would be walking around, we're like hungover, and we're like, hey, there's free pancakes, let's do it, right? And I went in there, ate the pancakes, and now, did I get the message at that time? Well, no, right? Because everyone accepts, that message at a different time. And for me, it wasn't until dental school that one of my professors kind of like motivated me and spent the time to talk. And so what I've noticed is sometimes, it's not just one moment. It's a culmination of multiple moments and multiple incidents that causes you to wonder, hey, maybe this is something I want to look into. I wanted this book to be a continuation of that. And let's say somebody maybe they've heard about Christianity, maybe they watched something on TV, maybe they've seen a Facebook stream or something, right? But maybe that didn't pique their curiosity. Maybe when they were reading my book, or maybe when their significant other was reading a book and they mentioned, maybe that's what got them interested. So it was really important because that's my way of saying, hey, I care about you as a reader. This impacted my life so much that I want to include in there. I want to kind of name drop Jesus a little bit, right? That's what I call it. It's called name dropping it, because maybe that is what's going to push you to learn more. So it's really important. So everything I do, whether it's talking to my patients, whether it's doing a live stream, I always kind of name drop Jesus, because maybe that instance is what actually gets people motivated to learn more.
Right. Yes. Just here and there throughout your life in the book, just name dropping him, like you said, it
Yeah.
may pique somebody's curiosity, and that's what drives them to learn more and, to seek that faith. So I think that's awesome. What an important detail to put in a book. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, that's something that's really, this book is just, really just leaving some kind of legacy, right? Like, I hope people enjoy the story. But, from all the reviews I've gotten, those two aspects have been the biggest things, that they took away from it that really affected them: the anti-texting and driving, and just the Christian element there. Because, in this day and age of just things that maybe you don't agree with, or maybe things are pushed aside, it's really nice to have like a positive message for people.
yeah, definitely. And those are definitely two very important messages. So, and speaking of reviews and things like that, so I would love for the viewers at home to know of a place where they can connect with you better and maybe leave a review for the book, which
Yeah,
can be done on all major online retailer sites where Glenn's book is available. But go
yeah.
ahead and tell us where the viewers can connect with
Well, so I when we first released the book, I really wanted to get it out there, and so I put it. It's called onlinebookclub.org. It's the largest online book club, and so I basically like, okay, well, here you go. I'm going to give you guys some copies here and read it, and so that's where I got most of my reviews. Now, most of them were really good, and they love all those aspects there. So that's a big one there. But for those who want to just learn more, obviously you can go on Amazon. But Goodreads is a big one. If you just look, if don't take my word for it that it's a good book, okay? Don't take Taylor's word for it. Goodreads, I have a lot of reviews on there. It's actually a pretty good site if you want to look up other books as well. And there's a link there to purchase. But you can also go to 2612 cherryhilllane.com. And you can actually buy it off my site. And if you do that, I will sign it. If you want me to write something, I will too. But anyone who orders it through my site, I always take the time to sign it. And so you'll get an autographed copy if you go through my site.
Yes, I love that. So there's a direct connection to Glenn, and he'll sign your book. So
there you go.
26 Cherryhill Lane. Wonderful. So thank you so much, Glenn, for joining me today. And thank you, everyone at home that is watching. It was such a pleasure. And go check out Glenn's book, 26 Cherryhill Lane. It was such a pleasure. Thank you again, Glenn.
Taylor, thank you so much. And guys, thanks for watching, and sign up, get the book at my site, and I'll sign it for you.
Here we go. Bye, everyone.